Hey guys, Gary Bonner here for my presentation on deterring consensual crime. So there we go. So basically this first slide really just talks about and describes what deterrence is. And deterrence is simply punishing a group or an individual to put fear into the public or an individual to make them not want to commit that same type of crime. So this can be seen on the federal level or a local level. So a federal level, say a really big drug dealer gets arrested and gets life in prison, and his sentence might not, his charges may not amount up to a life in prison sentence, but the law and the courts want to show that selling these drugs and stuff isn't really what you want to do. So they're going to deter him and put that drug dealer away for life to show maybe his other friends or other gangs or drug dealers that this isn't what you want to do because this is the consequences. So they want to put that fear in them to make sure that they don't commit that same type of crime. That's just federal. So, but on a local level, this can be misdemeanors, petty crimes, little theft. Say you say you steal out of a store and you steal some candy, juice, and stuff like that. And you might get it like a community service with a probation, but the probation might not be necessary, but they still want to show that this type of crime isn't really what you want to do or commit. So they're going to show that public or that individual that you commit this crime. These are the consequences. So they want to put that fear in them to make sure that they don't commit that same type of crime again. There's two types of deterrence. The first types of deterrence shown and seen evident in criminal activity and all that is general deterrence. General deterrence is basically punishing a group or an individual to deter or put fear into a general population or a big group of people. So really for an example, person gets punished, but they want to show the public that this isn't what you want to do, or else these are the consequences. So basically, it's in the name. So general deterrence, they want to put fear into that general population of people. The second type of deterrence is called specific deterrence. I was trying to get the word out. It's called specific deterrence. Now, it's really similar to general deterrence. So instead of deterring that big group of people or that big population, you deter one single individual to not commit a certain type of crime or commit any crimes that would lead to the same punishment that they're deterring the person for in the first place. So same thing as general, they're just putting that fear instead of one person, instead of a big population, into one person. Now, for the second part of the title, we just got done covering deterrence. Now we're going to cover what consensual crime really is. Consensual crime, I'm actually going to read up. Consensual crime is a public order crime that involves more than one participant of whom give their consent and are willing participants in the crime. So consensual crime is really in the name. The definition is really in the name. Consent means willingly or they givingly do something. So an example of this stuff is prostitution, drug deals, anything like that really. Anything like that. Drug dealers knowingly know what they're getting themselves into. They're gonna sell you those drugs. They're gonna know that they could get arrested for it, as well as the clients know that these drugs might be laced, poison. Someone could be watching them. So that's just on a drug dealing wise, what a consensual crime could be. A better example of consensual crime is prostitution. We all know sex, the biggest word that you want to hear in sex is consent. Well, biggest word you want to hear is yes, but that comes along with the other word that matters the most, which is consent. So prostitution is a really good example of this because prostitution is illegal in most places, or most places it's legal. And really, when you commit prostitution, you consensually give that person free will over, a woman consensually gives free will over her body to a person who's paying for it. And that's also a consensual crime, having the word consensual there, right there. So deterring a consensual crime has really impacted society in a positive way, I would say, because these types of crimes that I've highlighted in here are really like bad crimes and really like crimes that occur in big level cities. Take example, prostitution. Big cities like New York, Chicago, LA, they give you the flashy parts of the city and the good parts of the city, but they don't show you the low income communities that they have within that city that are right by the big flashy parts. So those people and those females in those low income communities who are trying to provide for a family, a child, a loved one, or anything like that may not have the resources in that low income community or job opportunities in that community to provide in a respectful or legal way. So they'll turn to a thing such as prostitution to keep going and keep food in their bellies, clothes on their backs, and all that. Then drug consensual crime is a really good example today because with the coronavirus, there's a lot of jobs missing. A lot of jobs gone, people trying to find ways to provide for their families, don't have income coming in any consistent ways, so they'll turn to drugs, which is, people are always going to want drugs. So they'll turn to drugs to commit these consensual crimes and keep on providing for their families because they don't have any other way in these low income communities, or as I just stated, like currently going on as we're in a whole pandemic. So yeah. But the impact on society when it comes to consensual crime has been positive because you want to get these drug dealers off the street. You want these women to either be arrested for these crimes that they are committing, or as well as them getting help, seeking help, and becoming a better version of themselves instead of committing these consensual crimes like prostitution. So that's it. Appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you.